on the Texas A&M Sports Network from Learfield. Live from Rudy's Barbecue on Harvey Road in College Station. Welcome to the Aggie Diamond Hour with Trisha Ford. Brought to you by 44 Farms, the official beef of Texas A&M Athletics. And by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. Now, here's Matt Simon.
Howdy, Ags, and welcome to the latest edition of the Aggie Diamond Hour, featuring our head softball coach, Trisha Ford. Over the next hour, we're going to talk Texas A&M softball. Your Aggies ranked 15th in the nation, coming off their first ever series win at LSU over the weekend in Baton Rouge. A&M 19-9 and 2-1 in league action. This league race is going to be a fun one all season long based off the results that we have seen. Trisha Ford will join us in just a few minutes. Traffic, lots of fun at this time of day here in College Station. So she'll be here in just a little bit. Several of the players scheduled to join us as well. Well, while we got a few minutes, let's look back at the weekend as Texas A&M went on the road, as we said, to Baton Rouge. They had lost 5 in a row in Baton Rouge coming into the series, and the Aggies won the opener by a final of 7-1. Maya Perez, Kennedy Powell, etc., going off on that one, and some strong pitching in the circle, and Texas A&M picks up that victory, and then follows that up on Sunday night on nationally televised audience, in front of a nationally televised audience, as the Aggies win that one 3-2. So they take the series. They'd never won a series in Baton Rouge until Sunday night, and so that gave the Aggies a series. The final got away late from Texas A&M in a 7-2 victory by LSU over Texas A&M to salvage Game 3 of that series. But even in that one, the Aggies pressing late, loading the bases in that final inning, just unable to get that last big hit to pull themselves back in there. So the Aggies, as we said, 2-1 in league play, and it's the first of 8 series in the SEC. It's an absolute gauntlet as they get going through this one. A&M Kentucky this weekend. We'll talk a lot about this series as well as we get going throughout the show. And it's a really attractive home schedule for the Aggies this softball season. 4 conference series, the first one beginning Friday night against Kentucky. After that, Easter weekend, they'll host Georgia, who's a top 15 team, Mississippi State, who you might write off if you don't really follow softball. But the Bulldogs, they're coming here in mid-April. They're ranked 13th or 12th in the nation. They just beat they beat Tennessee. That's Tennessee's only loss of the season so far. And then you might have heard of the final team coming to Davis, the Oklahoma Sooners. That'll be at the end of the year. So a loaded home schedule at Davis Diamond, and it'll be a whole lot of fun. And we'll kick that off in conference play on Friday night against Kentucky. Joined now by our head coach, Trisha Ford. Traffic's fun this time of day, isn't it?
Oh, it's something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the post-spring break 5 o'clock hour traffic. But, hey, appreciate you fighting your way over here.
Slid in a little, yeah.
That's okay.
Snuck in here.
Yeah, you got in there.
Yeah.
That's good. Mm-hmm. We were just talking, as we opened the show about the series win. Let's just start with that in Baton Rouge. That is a very tough place to play, and I know we had some fans that made the trip for it as well. But I think overall, getting 2 out of 3 at a venue like that, especially whether or not the history matters, especially the history, you got to be pretty pumped about that start to the year.
Yeah, I obviously, anytime you can take a series in the SEC, especially on the road, you take it. And so I think that was the first time us Ags have won that series on the road in Baton Rouge. So you always give me these tidbits that I don't know. But
you're just coaching.
Yes, that's my So, and really, Game 3 was there for us to take as well, and we just didn't execute in some situations, and that equals an L. They're good. They're a good team, and we're obviously a good team as well. So that's what happens. But overall, yes, a good weekend.
I felt like I was thinking about it the other day. We were talking to some people in the office. This series maybe is a kind of a microcosm for what I think this. Maybe across the league, they're going to be like. If you look at that first game, I would say that one you probably had control of most of the way. They made it a little interesting at the end, but you never felt truly kind of threatened. That second game, you jump on them early, but if either you get a big hit in the middle, it opens it up, or if they get a big hit, it narrows it down. That ends up being a one-run game. And then even the third game, which ends up 7-2, a game I don't think you played well enough to win. However, a big hit here or there early in that game, and it's completely different. I just think in this league that's kind of what we're seeing around this conference, right?
Yeah, we had a lot of traffic in the game we lost that we didn't capitalize on, and I think that's always going to be key. If we, in the first inning, I think we had bases loaded, 1 out, and we didn't score. So I think that's going to nip you in the butt. So, but there's been so many times that our offense has kept us in games, and so things, they kind of go back and forth. I think overall this weekend we pitched really well, and needed to pitch well even in that game, and some things didn't go our way defensively, and that's kind of how the game goes. So, but you can't not play well defensively and then also not get that hit and expect to win a game in this league. So this weekend, our goal is obviously to pitch well, have a good offensive approach and play clean defense. And we have for the most part since we kind of started with AK behind the plate and those types of things. So it was a hiccup, but no more hiccups.
Yeah. And it's an intangible I didn't even ask you about. I just thought about it with your schedule. You have challenged this team with a tough schedule. Yep. However, your first true road game was in San Marcos a couple weeks ago, and even that one, there's a bunch of maroon in the stands, Aggie maroon, not Bobcat maroon. Mm-hmm. Yes, a road game, however, a little bit different. That Saturday night was your first true hostile environment road, and it was a good crowd, and they got loud early, but you threw a punch early, and then they just fell silent.
I thought it was pretty quiet. I love that. It's like the best feeling ever.
Especially there.
Yeah, amen. So, I think, we obviously challenged them, and we had some bumps in non-conference, but we went on the road quite a bit, and, we had to learn how to play together, how to win. We had some losses as well, and so I think that being able to pull from that toolbox of being able to create our own energy. I mean, we're so spoiled at Davis Diamond. I mean, it's like the best venue. We have the best fans. You get the bubbles going. Like, you can just feel the energy in Davis Diamond. So it is important for us to take some of those bumps early on and go on the road and figure out how to create our own energy, because in order for you to be really good, you have to win on the road in this conference. And so, yes, overall, very happy with that. And I think it's, because of what we did non-conference.
Yeah, and knowing you guys as well as I do, you all are always looking, always observing, always watching. Some of the intangibles maybe on the weekend, did you like kind of what you saw? Maybe players interacting with each other on the road, hotel, in the game, dugout energy, any of the things that maybe aren't in the box score, right? But things that can lead to success on the field. Did you like some of the stuff you saw on the road?
Yeah, yes, I did. I liked it better on Saturday and Sunday, to be honest with you. Yeah. But I think overall this team really likes each other, and they have meshed really well together. And so being able to have hard conversations at this age, I think, is tough for them. And I think they have enough trust in each other that they can have hard conversations. And, again, I think the pitchers did a good job of staying connected and staying in their circle, but executing and talking. I like to say the truth, right? Like, hey, you're, not working ahead right here, or you're doing a good job of working ahead, or, those different zones that we're hitting. I think the hitters had good conversation, and that's really, it's important in our game. It's the little things that kind of build up to the big things, and I think, we just didn't make adjustments in that last game, and that's the one unfortunately stuck in my head, So they had a fun time at practice today. But, I think it's just a good lesson that as soon as you take the foot off the gas pedal, things can kind of tornado into something that it wasn't. Because I know it says 7-2, but really we were in that game the whole entire time. And we just, let things slip away that shouldn't have slipped away. So I think, I'm ready. I always say this. I just want to get back on the field and play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy.
Yeah, because you played on a Monday, you don't have to wait as long. It's kind of nice, right?
Yeah. We've had a lot lot of short weeks this year.
Yeah, it's been crazy,
yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One thing you brought up that I wanted to ask you, we're going to have the Sidnes here.
Yep.
The pitchers are going to come visit with us a little bit later. But you mentioned Ariel Kowalewski. As a pitching coach, and I'm going to ask them about this too, I think, and I watched every pitch this team throws, right? But there's so many intangible things that kid's doing behind the plate. Can you talk about how valuable she's been in just this short amount of time behind the plate for you guys, and all those things that she could do to help affect a game that maybe, again, you don't see in the box score?
Yeah, if you know AK, she's a quiet kid. And when she puts on that gear, she kind of turns into somebody else. And she this sounds so little, but like making eye contact with the pitchers and giving them good feedback, not just like, hey, here we go, let's, here we go. Like she's like talking to them about their release points, like where the ball's crossing the plate, reminding them about where the runners are. There's so many things in that position because you can see the whole entire field. And so she's just done a really good job of commanding the infield. Even the infielders have said, like, AK behind the plate, there's a different presence with her there. And so I think, that's great for AK, but it's also good for Maddie Sani to see that and see what that looks like and what that position demands at this level, and that assertiveness, the confidence, and also the level-headedness that I think, obviously AK has and Maddie has as well, but there's a certain level of business-like behavior that you have to have in order to catch at a high level.
The thing that's amazed me more than anything with that kid is, for people that don't know, she grew up a catcher. She was a catcher her entire life. She goes to Florida her freshman year. Well, Jocelyn Erickson's pretty good, so you're probably not going to get a lot of innings behind the plate. She comes to A&M. My point is she hadn't caught really in a game that matters, for lack of a better term, in almost 2 years. And she looked like she had caught yesterday, the day before. Like the presence back there was amazing to me.
Should I tell you, too, that she hasn't caught a bullpen before?
I think you told
in the
me
fall.
maybe one in the fall.
Yeah, and that was it. So I brought her into the office. I'm like, hey, you're going to catch today. And she said, all right, sounds good. Thanks. Gotta love a kid like that. Yeah.
We'll take that for sure. I love it. All right, just getting started here on the Aggie Diamond Hour with our head coach, Trisha Ford. Again, got several of the players coming to visit with us later on. I want to also make sure you understand Friday, Saturday, Sunday with Kentucky. We got a lot of cool stuff going on this weekend. Friday is fireworks night, so post-game fireworks at Davis Diamond following that game against Kentucky. Saturday is Maroon Out. There's going to be some T-shirt giveaways going on as well. Sunday is our BTHO cancer game. There's information on that on our website. I'll go over all of that a little bit later. We got some other little surprise things we'll save for the fans involving, celebrations of big moments in the game and stuff. We'll save that. We'll save that for Friday night. They can come out and check it out. It'll be cool. They've been cooking at home while we've been out of town. It'll be good. All right. This is the Aggie Diamond Hour with our head coach Trisha Ford. We'll be back in just a bit. You're listening to Texas A&M softball from Learfield. Softball and barbecue lovers know the perfect brisket needs the right wood. Rudy's smokes all their meats using delicious signature rubs in 100% oak-fired pits. Get your real Texas barbecue fix today at Rudy's or on the web at rudys.com. Welcome back. It's the Aggie Diamond Hour with our head coach, Trisha Ford. This is the second of 3 softball shows, by the way. Our final show of the season will be the Wednesday before the Oklahoma series, Wednesday, April the 29th here at Rudy's. We have one more Aggie Diamond Hour with Michael Early and the Aggie baseball team. That will be April the 9th, Thursday, April the 9th here at Rudy's as well. So 3 and 3 give you some Aggie baseball, Aggie softball as we are in full swing crossover season right now. Bucky McMillan and the Aggies in Oklahoma City right now. Joni's got a home postseason game.
Bucky's taking on my Gales.
Did you trash talk him yet?
No, I haven't, because I want him to win.
So
that's good. I'm not trash talking Bucky.
That's good.
Yeah.
I need to ask Bear Harrison, a baseball catcher, is the Gale too, and he's talking to the media tomorrow. We'll have to ask him. I'm sure he's cheering for the Aggies, but you never know, right?
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what a season for them. I know you don't get a lot of time to watch games.
Yeah.
It's usually, I know you've always told me, it's like I'm in my office working and the game is on the TV, but they've been fun to watch this year, haven't they? Aggie basketball.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I text with Bucky. He's good. He's been good, to me, especially when he got here. So I texted him before Selection Sunday and just told him, I think what an amazing – only us coaches understand what we really go through. And I think what an amazing job that man's done with a program that didn't have one player on roster. I don't know that people really can wrap their head around that. And – for him to do what he has done. That's why I wanted to text him before Selection Sunday, is because I think he's just done a tremendous job and a great fit in Aggie land. Yeah, and we've talked about this a lot, but just the coaching camaraderie that you guys have. I was actually talking to Trev Alberts today. We had a welcome event for Bobby Shuttleworth, our soccer coach. Yep. Just talking about the camaraderie and the teamwork between the coaches. And
if you have a question you guys are always trying to learn, right? So
Yep.
you go, I'm going to I'll text Mike Elko and see what he thinks about
Yep.
whatever. The camaraderie is pretty special here.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's what makes Texas A&M special is the people. Like, that's the thing about this place is it's, life is really about people and relationships. So.
Yeah, 100%. So the Aggies, after the series win over LSU, are now going to come home, thankfully. Man, it's been, 4 of the last 5 weeks, I think,
Yes.
on the road. The Aggies will host Kentucky. And I think Kentucky is a great example of what we were talking about earlier. If you look at their results, it's very easy to look and say, oh, they're near the bottom. They're at 1-5. They lost 2 at Auburn, and they got swept at home by number 3 Florida over the weekend. But if you truly dig, I know that at the end of the day, the only result that matters is the win-loss. But if you dig in, they win the opener at Auburn. They lose the second game, and the third game goes 13 innings, and they lose by 1 run. And then the Florida series, obviously Florida is one of the top teams in the league. Florida run rules them all 3 games. The first game, Florida run rules them 10-2. It's 2-1 in the 6th inning.
Yeah, I was like, for the whole game, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's a perfect example of what we were talking about earlier about how all these games can go any different direction. It's just a question of who gets that big hit when it matters, right?
Absolutely. And every team in our conference is good enough. I think you've seen that up and down college softball this year is that, there's quote-unquote upset wins or wins that, shouldn't quote-unquote happen. But that's the game. And I think you're seeing it all across collegiate athletics, to be honest with you. But, we're going to have to play good in order for us to win a ball game against Kentucky. They're good.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. They're good. And they're very well coached, too. And we've had a lot of fights with them. Good fights, not like real fights, but good fights over the years. And talk a little bit, too, about, all the wins matter, home or away, but protecting the home field, that you always feel like you have a kind of a bit of an advantage just for the fact that you're playing at Davis, don't you? And to be able to defend that in the home series that you have. Yeah,
I think it's important. I talk about, I think one of the greatest things that we can do as a fan base, and the 12th man does a tremendous job, is make it hard to win and be the 12th man. For us, it would be the 11th man, but really the 12th because we have a pitcher and 10 hitters, or 9 hitters. But I think that piece is really important. Just how I just stressed how hard it is to go on the road and win at LSU. I want that same experience at Texas A&M. I think what our fans do a good job is they don't check out. And so if we're down, we've had, since we've been here, I can only talk about our time, we've had some exciting comebacks that I think they know now that stay until the very last out because the Aggies don't give up. We fight to our last breath. So, I think our fans just do a tremendous job of staying to the last pitch and making sure that they are heard through that last pitch.
Well, and that fits with the the team mantra on the warm-ups. NOTF, never out of the fight. Right?
Never out. We're never out.
Yeah. Well, and there were moments this weekend when LSU, you felt like maybe they could climb back in the game a bit, or they're down, but they need a big strikeout, and the place was dead.
Yeah.
It was quiet because they were losing, so they just weren't making noise.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, I do too.
That was very, very good time there. We're going to talk with a couple of pitchers a bit later in the show. Overall, your kind of thoughts on it's an interesting group because it is, there is some veteran experience in there, but at the end of the day, it is kind of a young group that you've got out there with the Cape Marlins and the Sidney and all of that. Overall, kind of, you're almost at the halfway point. Maybe it is the halfway point of the season. Your thoughts on kind of what you've seen in the circle this year?
Yeah, I think I know what they're capable of, and I think at the beginning of the year we're still trying to figure some things out, and we've just been a work in progress. I think that's really the tale of the season so far is we are a work in progress, and just meshing and figuring out pitching and defense, some shifts. And so I think what I'm really happy with is I do feel like we are moving in a good direction. I know what we are capable of. I know just how special this group really could be if they would just, continue to work and buy into where their role is and do their role really, really well. Yeah,
for those of you that were able to watch the series this weekend, I think it was they all run together. I think it was a Saturday game where you threw Lessentine for 4-ish. And then you went Kate, and she almost, she was basically a batter away from closing it down, but then you were able to go get Peters. And so you used 3 pitchers, and you told me after the game, you're like, it's a true staff approach ultimately this year as we're going.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing that was impressive, those of you that are nerds like me, when it comes to softball, Lessentine on day 1 was an up ball pitcher On day 3, she was a down ball pitcher. And I think that's a big difference. Her ability to, when you think about how you're going to win against the same team Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's how you're going to win Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is being able to reinvent yourself, make yourself look different. How do you disguise what you're going to do? And so she just did a tremendous job of coming out there, executing her pitches, but also then coming out the third day. She pitched every single day and being like, okay, I'm going to beat you now a different way. Like, I am that good that I can beat you up, and now I'm going to beat you down.
Yeah, and still just a sophomore. Obviously, confident in what she does, but you still always are working on that confidence. But, you get 2 of the 3 games, but that's got to be a big confidence boost for her to be able to go out and execute something you guys talk about.
Yeah, so on Mondays, my day's kind of filled of Zooms and it's a lot of pitching analytics day of like me and my people, and this week it was Tuesday, but we were talking about, there was a bullpen last year where there was a lot of, she was just a freshman, there was a lot of I would say chaos, so pitchers tend to panic. I know that surprises everybody. Wow. But anyways, in our bullpen, we had a couple pitchers that were struggling with things and not handling things, and Sid was in the middle, and she just was like stone cold, like, I'm going to work, and it really, really impressed all of us that kind of see things from a different lens of, here's this freshman, she's watching older pitchers, right, kind of have some panicky moments and not get flustered, and she's just like, boom, like, go to work. Like, how am I going to get better? And I think that's what you see on the mound. You don't see her get too high, too low. She connects well with her teammates, but she's really just kind of stone cold.
As a coach, do you like to see a lot of emotion out of your pitchers? Would you rather them be sort of stone, or does it sort of depend on their personality or maybe what works best for them?
Yeah, I think what works best for them, but you can definitely tell when it's not real. I want them to be like, there's points in the game where you should get really excited. It's like when your defense, when Paisley Allen makes that phenomenal catch, that's huge. Like KK had a nice backhand, a ball hit plus 70, her nose is behind the ball and throws a kid out, like those types of moments when it's really about the team and them having her back. I think those moments you need to show as a pitcher, like, excitement. I think when they're just kind of I hate vanilla. So like when they're vanilla out there, you're just like, it's hard to connect as people. And I think you got to feel the people's energy. So you can't get too high and you definitely can't get too low, but there's a good level, and it's going to depend on the pitcher of what that level kind of looks like.
Yeah. And I think also too, they have to be able to handle that emotion, right? There were a couple of the pitchers for LSU and they had success from time to time, right? But it seemed like they were almost too emotional at times, and I felt like it affected their ability to execute what they were trying to do. So it works in the other direction, doesn't it? Absolutely,
and we talked about it as a staff even during the game, and we talked to the hitters. The plan before the game was, she gets flustered, let's get in her head early and often, like be annoying, and it worked. And so I think, that can be considered a weakness. So if you're out there and you're, complaining about calls or those types of things, as a hitter, that's an advantage to me. There's so many things inside of the game that's not just about balls and strikes and catching the ball and hitting the ball. It's how can you basically, what kind of welfare can you can you get after?
Well, and for your team, and this will include the hitters as well, when you have that sort of, I don't know, positive energy is the right phrase, but when it's channeled in the direction of your teammates and another team is watching the way your team celebrates success, that can be a mental edge as well, can't it? With the other team going, man, they're down, but look how much, I don't say that word, but look how much energy they're having and all that. That can work to your advantage against the other team in sort of an indirect way.
Yeah, well, we've gotten quite a few transfers in that have said, hey, I ask them, like, why did you choose Texas A&M? Like, why and they're like, well, I really enjoyed, we played against you, and I loved the style of play that you play. And it comes back to that. It's like, you can tell that we are all in it for each other. It's us against the world. We have no friends, it's us. And so that that attracts a certain type of player. It attracts a Tallen Edwards. It attracts Ali Enright. It attracts Kramer Eschte. Like those types of players that want to be part of that. They want to feel part of a group that it's like we're going to war together and kind of pounding their chest. You know, I think there's those types of players that really yearn for that connection piece.
And as you talked earlier about kind of a work in progress as a sort of a phrase for any team is that way, but with this group here, as you work through the season and you have that kind of energy that just continues to sort of feed on each other and build that energy to where when you get to the time of year when it really matters in May, all of that work is channeling towards that one goal, right?
Absolutely, and that's what I think is going to be different this year is just how close this team is and how much they enjoy being around each other, and they know that the person to the right of them and the left of them are here for one job and one job only. It's how to get Texas A&M softball a win today, and it could be that pitch. How are we going to win this pitch? How are we going, to win this at bat? And I think that is, just a recipe for just success.
Yeah, and if you take that and look at that very last inning against LSU on Monday night, again, the game's not going your way. You didn't play great that day.
We didn't play well, yeah.
But it's 7-1, and it's easy to just pack your bag and get on the bus, right? But no, it was 7-2.
Yep.
Somebody gets a hit. Now it's a one-run game.
Well, they're still walking Maya Perez with.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, a 7-2 lead.
She might have to get used to that a little bit more.
Yeah, she is. But that's all right because Talon's ready for that responsibility. Wark is ready for that responsibility. KK Demet, AK. I mean, we have so many weapons that they're ready for it. And they're actually itching for it. They're like, I want to make this a nightmare for a pitcher. So yeah,
because if you do that behind them, then at some point they're either going to say, okay, well, I'm not going to throw to her, but I got to deal with this. Yes. Or now I've got to throw to her, and then I still have to deal with this.
Right. You can't not throw to four hitters.
Yeah. No, well, I mean,
the math is a mathin'.
No.
Yeah.
No. That's why you run the pitching show right there, right? You know these things way better than I do. All right, this is the Aggie Diamond Hour with our head coach, Trisha Ford, and we got the Aggies here visiting with us. We'll bring a couple of them up here in the next segment. Thanks to the generosity of the 12th Man Foundation donors, Aggie student athletes have the resources to succeed at Texas A&M and beyond. Start your tradition of support today at 12thmanfoundation.com. More of the Aggie Diamond Hour after this. This is Aggie Softball from Learfield. Fans help Aggie Softball beat THO cancer this Sunday and bring awareness to a cause that affects so many. Join us for a pregame on-field recognition of all cancer survivors. Support the cause by standing for those you love on game day and by donating to the Brazos Valley Relay for Life. Visit 12thman.com/BTHO cancer for more information. Again, that's Sunday against Kentucky, 1 p.m. first pitch at Davis Diamond. Welcome back to the Aggie Diamond Hour. We gave Coach a break there, and we'll bring up a couple of our players. We have Tallen Edwards, our Aggie senior transfer second baseman, and then Scout Lovell, junior outfielder, with us as well. Thanks for coming to hang out, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Well, we appreciate you coming. We'll bribe you to get over here and come and hang out with us. That's how it works. Let's start with you, Scout, as junior year already, huh? Does it feel like it's
crazy?
Flown by?
Flown by, yes.
Yeah. Lovelady, how big, and are there more people sitting here tonight than live in your hometown?
Oh yeah, this is about my graduating class right here, 29.
29, huh? That's crazy. What did you play did you play everything sport-wise, or were you mainly just softball?
So in Lovelady, yes, everybody plays everything, but my freshman year, this is whenever I really started getting serious about softball, and my dad was like, you're gonna have to choose. So I ended up playing softball and I ran track.
Wow, that's good. You had to cut it down to just a couple of things,
yes.
Right? What was your favorite outside of softball? Was it track your favorite thing you enjoyed, or did you have a lot of fun with something else that you played growing up?
I really enjoyed track. I did the relays and I pole vaulted. So I think that would be my next favorite.
Talon, you're envisioning right now in your head Scout trying to pole vault, right?
Just a little bit.
It's getting in there. First thing. Tallen, for you growing up in Oklahoma City, completely different, obviously. Than there's just a few more people in the Oklahoma City metro than Lovelady. What was your thing growing up? Was it softball all the way? Did you play everything? Were you kind of a gym rat, so to speak, where you just did a bunch of the sports?
Yeah, so I played predominantly softball. I played a little bit of baseball until I was about 14. And then, at that age, they get a lot bigger. And it gets a little scary out there. And then I played a little bit of basketball growing up too, but once I hit middle school, my dad was like, no. He's like, I don't want you getting hurt in anything else, so it was really just softball from there out. What
was it like playing with the boys? I don't think people realize sometimes that there's quite a few girls that will play baseball, especially to your point, to a certain age that they'll do that. What was that like, that experience?
It's really fun to go beat up on boys. Like, that was the coolest thing, and then, if you fail, it's like, oh, I'm a girl. Who cares?
But then when you win.
Right. So it was a win-win situation, however it went. But it was a really cool experience, just kind of getting on the other side of something and having fun with it.
Yeah. When did you realize that, maybe I can make something of this softball thing that I've been doing growing up?
Yeah. So fun fact, I committed to Missouri when I was in the 6th grade. So about that time is when, about 12 years old, is when I figured it out that I could do a lot of really cool things in this sport.
Yeah, 12-year-old you deciding you want to play college. That's pretty impressive. 6th grade. The earlier and earlier of the commits back when you were committing is pretty crazy. Scout, what about you? When did you first realize that kind of like, hey, this could be something I could kind of do and get into college and play?
Probably my freshman year. I had played softball since I was probably 10, and that's probably when I was like I could probably do something with this.
Yeah. Two different journeys, obviously, to wear the maroon and white for both of you guys. And Scott, I'll start with you. Texas A&M, when did it come on your radar? Family ties, anything like that? What was kind of your road to Aggie Land?
So it actually wasn't on my radar. Growing up in Lovelady, I feel like all my friends, this was they either went to Texas A&M or Texas. So I was like, I want to be different. I don't want to go to A&M. So I went through the whole recruiting process, and actually I committed to Arizona State first with Coach Ford. And whenever she got the head coaching job over here, I decided to follow her.
That's got to be pretty random for you to, you commit to play in Tempe, and then the coach you committed to.
20 hours away to coming over here, just an hour and a half. So, yeah, I got here and never looked back.
Yeah, and then Tallen, for you, I'm sure our fans know, as you played your entire career up at Oklahoma State, been to the World Series and done a lot of great things. When you put your name in that portal, what was it about this place that really drew you to want to come play here?
I told Coach Ford this. We played them in February down in Clearwater, and at that time that I knew that I didn't want to play at Oklahoma State anymore, that I wanted to find something different. And I told her that I had this microscope glass on every team that we played, because it was a possibility. And when we played Texas A&M, the amount of swag that they had, and just kind of they had so much grit, you didn't want to play against them. And that was the first moment that I was like, Texas A&M would be really cool. That fits my quota. That's the player that I am. And it was just from there, Texas A&M never left my mind through the whole season.
Wow, that's fascinating. It's fascinating you say that, because we were just talking to Trisha, and I don't know if you guys might have just gotten here. We're talking about how the way you carry yourselves as a team can affect the opponent in whatever way that may be. And so that's fascinating that you say that, because the opponents, and now you're on the other side where you know that they're seeing the way you guys carry themselves, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that we carry ourselves the same way that team last year carried themselves. It's just you don't want to step on the field with us. You have some little bit of doubt inside of you when you step on the field with Texas A&M.
Yeah. Visiting with Scout Lovell and Tallen Edwards here on the Aggie Diamond Hour. And Scout, for you, as you look at this year, as it's progressed, it's crazy. It feels like it's kind of just started, but we're actually probably halfway already through the season, which is insane. What are some of the things that you've kind of been excited about? You live and breathe this team every day of the year, even in the fall. But what are some of the things that you've seen on the field that are really exciting you about what's to come the rest of the way?
I feel like in years, the few years that I've been here, we've maybe been a little bit more talented. But this year it's been really cool to see we're just scrappy. Every time we get on the field, our mindset is we're not going to lose this game. And our motto this year is NOTF, never out of the fight. And I feel like we've really embraced that.
Yeah, it feels like that too, and I can point to almost every one of the losses this year, and even in those, very rarely, I don't know if not show up is probably not the right phrase I'm looking for, but like very rarely did you have limited chances to have success or limited opportunities, whatever. Every single game, you guys are doing things, at least set the table for success, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tallen, what about for you? Some of the things as you come in, again, with a different perspective, you come in as a newcomer, however, you instantly become one of the veterans and sort of and the leaders on the team. What have been your impressions off the field maybe and some of the things that have excited you about what you've seen in the first half?
Mm-hmm. So I think Mick and I have already told the team this, but this is the most talented team we've played for. Like, so what, going to the World Series with Oklahoma State, all of that, this is the most talented team we have ever played for. And like I've been saying, the most gritty team. And I think it's cool because some of the things that, like conversations that we have been having this season is that our ceiling can go higher. Like in our best moments this year, we are better. Like I promise you, and we're going to get there. There's a lot of new faces, a lot of new things happening. Some of us still getting the hang of some things, but our ceiling can go higher, and that will be presented this year.
Yeah, and that's got to excite you too for you coming into, and Scouts played the SEC your entire career, but for you, a lot of people talk the Big 12 down a little bit, but it's a good league, and it's got some really good teams, especially two of them that have just now joined the SEC. But for you, how excited are you to just run this absolute gauntlet of playing in the SEC against all these teams that you always see all the time in Oklahoma City?
Right. I am super excited. And yes, the Big 12 has its toughness, and it kind of lost a little bit of that, like you said, with Texas and OU going to the SEC. So I think I told the team this. I was like, sometimes it was hard to play at Oklahoma State when you woke up and played a Kansas or an Iowa State. Like sometimes it was hard to get on the field and really go after it. And I think that's what I'm super excited about is in the SEC, every single game is really, really good. So I think that's like the biggest difference that I have between the conferences, and I'm just excited to go do it with this team.
Yeah, last quick question for both of you. Scout, obviously haven't been here your entire career. Can you kind of just talk about what it's like to play at Davis in front of the 12th man and to have that jersey on and run out on the field to all the cheering out there?
It's been so amazing. Just all the traditions here, and then just, like you said, the 12th man, just having them behind us, it makes all the difference. Yeah,
and then finally, Tallen, for you, and you played in they got really big crowds up in Stillwater, but nothing like what we see here with this much bigger stadium. Something I'm sure you never take for granted, but with the first couple times when you ran out on Davis in front of a full house, what was that like?
It was amazing. The 12th man comes hard behind all of these athletics, and that was another huge thing that drew me to Texas A&M. Fans can do a lot, and when you see how Texas A&M fans show out for their kids and their athletes, just makes you want to go even harder. So being able to look up in the stands and not find very many empty seats is really cool to see.
I think we're going to see that this weekend as well. All
yes,
right,
sir.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming to hang out.
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
that's Scout Lovell and Tallen Edwards. And the Aggie Diamond Hour will continue in a bit. After this, we'll bring our pitchers up to talk a little softball. Back with more. This is Aggie Softball from Learfield. All right, we're back on the Aggie Diamond Hour here from Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road in College Station. Again, the final show of the season for softball, Wednesday, April 29th, a couple days before the day before the Oklahoma series. And baseball, the Aggie Diamond Hour will be back here on Thursday, April the 9th. Prior to a series against a team you may have heard of named Texas. That is April the 9th, baseball with Michael Early. Rolling along here, and we are visiting now with the Sidnes. I'm going to have to refer to you guys as your last name, because if I say Sidney, you both will look at me and say, what, Matt? What are you asking me here? Sidne Lessentine, sophomore out of Alamogordo, New Mexico, and Sidne Peters, junior out of Santa Fe, not the Santa Fe in New Mexico, the Santa Fe in Texas. I always have to clarify that as well. How far is Santa Fe from here?
Not
New Mexico, the Texas one.
2 hours. 2 hours.
2 hours
with
away.
With no traffic. But Houston,
is there seriously traffic in Santa Fe?
Yes. You got to – wait, what did you say?
Is there traffic in Santa Fe, Texas?
Well, it's the Houston traffic.
Oh, you got to go through it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you can add about a good 20 minutes right at 5 o'clock.
There we go. And Lessentine, I don't think your family don't have to deal with a whole lot of traffic in Alamogordo, do they?
No.
No. But that's a little bit longer drive for them.
Yeah, it's about 10 and a half hours.
Yeah, they don't miss many games. I don't think. I've seen them they were in Clearwater, they were in Palm, they were That's kind of fun, right? I mean, I know that's a haul, but
yeah. No, it's nice having them here,
yeah. That's got to be cool. All right, the Aggies, as we said, starting off SEC home action against the Kentucky Wildcats. And talking with both of you here, just kind of the same thing, journeys to Texas A&M. And what's ironic in a way is that you two also kind of have similar where you started at Washington. She obviously came here as a freshman. Lessentine, we'll start with you. Texas A&M, obviously you're coming from a state away. Why here and what kind of made you pick this place?
Yeah, I've always wanted to leave New Mexico. I always wanted to go somewhere big and pretty much see what I could do. And I came down here and ran into Amanda Scarborough, and she was like, you should come here. And I was like, I'd love to come here. So, yeah, no, I love it here. I love the small town feeling. And
do you think maybe like 15, 16-year-old you would look at you now and you're pitching in the SEC on national television and all that? Would that be kind of a shock to her, you think?
Yeah, I don't think she would believe it.
But here we are.
Yep.
And then for you, Peters, obviously you're from Texas and just a couple hours away, but you start at UW in the Pac-10 and then decide to make the move here after 1 year. Kind of your journey there. Is it closer to home, combination of that, pitching – your pitching coach and all of those things?
Yeah, it was, I think a big thing for me coming back home was definitely family. I never thought I would honestly ever leave Texas rather than go 36 hours from here. But
is it a 36-hour drive to Seattle?
I think so. I think I looked it up. But it was truly you never know kind of what you have until you leave it. And honestly, as soon as I felt like I knew I wanted to leave Washington after that fall. And then, honestly, as soon as I got the call from Coach Ford, I was like, all right, I'm going to A&M. So
I love it. What's it like, and you can be nice if you want because she's sitting over there, or you can be honest, pitching for a coach like that who puts so much work into and so much detail, and you guys are fans I'm sure don't even have any idea how much work you guys put in all those bullpens throughout the year. And I'll start with you, Peter. It's what's it like to pitch for a coach who cares so much and is so passionate about the position?
Yeah, I think just what threw me off when I got here was definitely the knowledge and metrics that she gets into with it. And but you come to realize all that stuff's really important on just growing as a pitcher in general. And Coach Ford's a coach that she's going to push you to your limits and maybe even push you so much where you have those good breakdowns, but it all just comes out for a good reason. And then she just has that really good mom side to it too, so it just really all mixes well together, and she's great. I love her.
And then Lessentine, for you, are you wired analytically with kind of an analytical brain? Do you enjoy ingesting all of that data? Are you more of just kind of tell me kind of what to execute, or how do you approach all that stuff?
It confuses me. Tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. I don't understand some of it, but it's cool to hear about. But sometimes I'm just give me the ball and just let me throw.
Let me think. I don't think you were here yet when we were talking earlier about. She talked about you specifically with being able to attack both planes against hitters, and it was a subtle thing that maybe a casual fan wouldn't notice. I honestly didn't even really notice it calling the games up there in the box. But she was talking about how the first day you were working up in the zone, and they knew you would throw again. Then the next time you came in, you're down a little bit. That's a versatility that you've kind of grown here, I would think, right? And what's that like to be able to continue to add to your arsenal as you work your way through college?
Yeah, I think it's completely game changing. I can work up in the zone and then down in the zone, and what I did at LSU, I was a rise ball pitcher one day and then a drop ball pitcher the next day. So the hitters are guessing, what is she going to throw today? And they don't know exactly what to hit. So.
Not so sure, huh? And then for you, the defense behind you, some big-time plays this weekend,
yes,
including out in left field. I don't remember if you were on the mound when that happened, but just in general, the defensive big plays you've seen and how much that fires you up as a pitcher.
It excites me, seeing Paisley jump over the wall to catch a ball or Tallen on her knees making a crazy play. It makes me excited to pitch behind them.
Yeah. And then just finally for you, Peters, how much fun is it to be here at Davis Diamond in Aggie Land in front of the 12th man when you go places? We were talking before you guys got here. Big crowd Saturday night in Baton Rouge, but Monday night it was very flat. There weren't a lot of people there, but that doesn't happen here at Davis Diamond. What's it like to get out there in the circle and know that 95% of the people in the stands that you're looking up at are behind you?
Yeah, you put your jersey on and you go out there and it's night and the lights are bright and you just like hear all these people screaming and yelling, and it really just like gives us life, the 12th man, and with all the yells, the cheers, the bubbles, I have never until I came here experienced or seen anything like it, and it's honestly just like the coolest thing ever.
All right, appreciate the time, guys, and we'll see you. I was going to say tomorrow, but I don't even know what day of the week it is. Let's just say Friday night against Kentucky.
Yep.
Let's just do that. All right. Thanks, guys. That is Sidne Lessentine and Sidne Peters. And we'll be back to wrap up this edition of the Aggie Diamond Hour after this. This is Aggie Softball from Learfield. All right, just a minute or so left here in the Aggie Diamond Hour, wrapping this one up. Aggies and Kentucky, Friday night, 6 o'clock, post-game fireworks. Saturday, maroon out T-shirts available for the first 1,000 fans at the main entrance. And then Sunday, our BTHO cancer game. It is also Faculty and Staff Appreciation Day, post-game run the bases. Saturday, by the way, post-game autographs from the seniors. All that information at 12fan.com/promotions. Trisha, just about a minute or so left here. Challenge out of the Kentucky Wildcats here this weekend as you try to protect Davis Diamond.
Oh, I just think we got to play our game. I think that's always going to be my answer. My money is always on us when we play our game. So I think us coming out, controlling the game, it's a game of momentum. It's a game of inches. Coming out, it's got to start and end in that circle. And so I think if we really control that circle, I think we're in a good place. So it's always about the Ags.
Yeah, and really maybe this year more than any that it's a game of inches in this league based off the results we've seen, right?
Absolutely. I think it can go either way. So, just hit strikes, be on time, and be able to play catch.
It's a simple game,
It's
right?
a simple game.
You probably tell them that a lot, don't you?
I do. I don't think that they think it's really that simple, but in my head, in my coach's head, it is.
In your head, it is.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate the time, and we'll see you on Friday.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
All right. That is Trisha Ford. This has been the Aggie Diamond Hour, and I want to thank our producer, Carson Wakeland, back at the Jeff City studios, and for our engineer here at Rudy's, Kevin Menchow. This is Matt Simon. We will be back with you on April the 29th, the day before the Oklahoma series here at Rudy's, Wednesday, April the 29th, and then baseball a few weeks before that, Thursday, April the 9th here at the Aggie Diamond Hour as well.